No. This is how I usually typically do my reading. That my physical realm and that my physical limitations and my physical understanding of the world, of you, of myself, of how we've interacted, how we've interacted with others. Because I don't want my physical self to be hindered, anything that is not of your true spirit, I am choosing to do this reading test. I usually do my reading, and I would like you, as the person seeking guidance, to ask a question you want to answer to. A problem you're trying to find a solution on, a situation that you might be going on or going through with like family or friends or jobs or community, or a choice like choose between A or B, or any any question that you would like a a deeper understanding. I would like you to ask that question, but not to me, not out loud. I would like you to formulate the question in your head and kind of like think of the question, ask the question within your head. You can take a few minutes. I usually do. It takes me a couple moments before I grab my tarot cards. Um, so yeah, think of that, and then when you've thought of your question, you let me know that you have asked your question. Again, I don't physically want to hear the question, because if I physically hear the question, I'm physically going to, physically meaning like mentally within my physical brain. I'm physically going to be making the wrong connections because of the words in which you chose to ask me directly. I don't want you to ask me directly. I'm not the one directly answering. Your spirit guides are answering you, because your spirit guides are asking my spirit guides, what the frick is going on here? Or what is this? Or what's that? I'm seeking help with this and blah. I'm not the one giving you the answer. The universe and all its doings are shifting because your thinking is going out into the universe. Thinking it is much different than saying it. Saying it loses half its weight. You telling me that you're going through a difficult time with so and so, you speaking it is going to make it either more difficult or less difficult depending on how you physically said the question. So I don't want you to physically manifest anything intentionally or unintentionally that you do or do not want. Especially if you don't know that you're accidentally manifesting it, because there are subtle differences between the physical and the spiritual. And that's a deeper rabbit hole that we're not going to get into. Because it sounds like you're ready for your question. So, ready for your answer? Okay. See, I just rambled just a little bit. Oh, Nope. 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 Even though that one flipped out. 7 of Pentacles. Right. 7 of Pentacles. You're looking at all the stuff that just went down. You're looking at the fruits of your labor. You're looking at it. You're looking at it. You're looking at all the work you've done. You're looking at it. All the thoughts you've thought, all the ideas you had, all the friendships and connections you've made. These pentacles can represent anything that is golden to you, anything that you cherish, anything that you hold valuable. You've grown something that is of value to you, and you're looking at it. You're looking at it. You're kind of looking back at it in a way of like you're getting feedback on what you've just done. Like if you just made a movie and now it's the first screening and you directed the movie. You know your intentions, you know your plan that you were aligned, you initiated it. You had the freedom to do whatever you wanted to do with it. You made it that way. You're looking at it. You're looking at it now. That's what this reading probably is. You're looking back at what you've just done. You're looking back at what you've just gone through. Whether it was the last day, the last week, month, year, you're looking back at all those gems. And I can't tell. It's only one card. So I'm just gonna sit this here before. I'm gonna ask if hold on. I have a question. Yeah, I have a question about this. Hold on. You're a magician. Okay. Judgment flipped out, but it's upside down. It's in reverse. Judgment. So like usually this means when it's upright that you are being called for review. You are being looked at. You are being your number is being called upon so that they can make sure everything's good. Or they can give you your rite of passage to give you your blessing to do this or do that, whatever it is. This is upside down. It's giving you this feeling of like maybe you thought it was gonna happen, because you may have seen that you're doing all this good work. You're still working on stuff. You're doing all this good work. You're still working on something, but because judgment is upright or upside down in reverse, I feel like you didn't get the response, or you're grateful for what you've done and what you've gotten done, or what you've been thinking, or what you set in motion, or all that you've initiated, all you've planned, all you've created, family, friends, community, work, love, life, hobbies, all the stuff you've created that you feel really good about, and you felt that it was going to be judged, you thought it was going to be judged, and it was the judging of it was going to go in the same way that you were thinking. You thought it was going to be aligned with you. And right now, I feel like you're stressed that it's not. I feel like you're stressed that it's going the wrong way, or that you're doing the wrong thing, or that even though you're trying to do the right thing, it's not being viewed the same way. That might be what this alignment is. Like, you initiated it, and you're kind of looking at it grow, and you're still putting in the effort to make it grow. But right now, it's it's either being judged by others in a way that you didn't expect, or now that you're deeper within all of this growth, all of this planting, you don't have the same views. You aren't aligned with what initiated this. Either you're not aligned with what you started and you're judging it negatively, or you still have good intentions. You still have a positive outlook on what you're growing and what you've initiated. Yet it feels like the outside world isn't looking at it within the same bright way and isn't aligned with what you are envisioning. I'm here to tell you that with Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, I I have a feeling. I am seeing that you're going from this energy of I'm looking at everything that's grown around me to being the person that has it all to them. Like, hey, guess what? I initiated this. Y'all might have judged it harshly, or I may have judged it harshly, or given it not so great reviews, or it hasn't been seeing great reviews, or the people that I really wanted to impress aren't impressed. What you worked on wasn't judged in the way you were hoping for, yet you still can sit and relax and display your achievements, because this is this is someone who this gives me like someone who's sitting down and displaying his trophies, or somebody is displaying their achievements, or this could be like a merchant and they have all of these beautiful gold products, and they're just sitting there like, yeah, you know my product's good. I know my product's good. What's the deal? What's the deal? And underneath that was the Six of Pentacles, but that was reversed. Six of Pentacles is usually balancing everything out, charity giving, giving things out to those who may need it because you have it and you have a surplus of it. But because it's upside down, it's saying that you're not doing that. You're holding back, and you're being this merchant, or you're being this person that's sitting with their achievements, with their goals, with all of that, with the valuables that they hold true. You're holding on to that, and you're not just giving it away willy nilly. You weren't giving it away willy nilly. You weren't giving out all these golden ideas just willy nilly. You weren't initiating things willy nilly. You weren't just anybody can have this. No, not everybody can have this. Not everybody can understand what you wanted to start when you started it. You just knew not to give it away. You knew not to you knew not to just throw it out there. You chose to wait and cultivate all of it. And even though it wasn't judged the right way, at the end of the day, you're still going to be sitting there like, I did a good job. I did a good job. Proud of myself. Even though I'm judged for it, and I was judged in a way that didn't seem the right way, guess what? Guess what? You still do what you want. End of the day. Other people may not be giving you. This might also mean other people might not be giving you what you want. Other people might not be giving you these golden coins that can turn into golden cups. Some people might think and judge your idea as being stupid, or judge your plans as being stupid, or judge your actions as being unfavorable, whatever the descriptions may be. They judge it differently. You're still going to be proud of yourself. You're still going to receive a good outcome. Because what I'm seeing is that you are, this is a cocky way to say it. You are a magician. The card is number one, but I was gonna say you are the one. Like, you had this idea, or you you had this life dream, you had this vision for yourself many, many, many years ago. Many years, probably when you first started. Star upside down. Star upside down just means like you're golden. You're that. The stars very very much connected to like bridging the spiritual and the physical realm. So you more than likely had this goal since you were young. Since you were in the womb, you didn't even know words in English. Somehow this dream kept coming back to you. This thing that you wanted to initiate, this thing you wanted to manifest kept coming up. And you've been trying it little by little and little by little and giving your ideas out and people not doing it or people judging it, and now you're looking at all these ideas that may or may not have failed or all the things that you have achieved. You're looking back at it, you're realizing that you still have it. You're still golden. You're still going to be sitting there with your achievement or with your accolades, with your praise, even from future endeavors. You're going to be getting this because you you are learning about the other alchemies. You are learning that you don't not everything has to be a one-on-one talk to get the things that you want. Or things might not even be you having to be aggressive or angry or put forth certain emotions to try and like um like puppeteer what it is that you want. You're realizing that you don't have to do things physically to kind of get to this. You're learning that there's so many other things outside of what you were already doing to try and make it happen that can make it happen much quicker than you thought. Like, so much quicker. Like you're inventing things. You're bringing in new ideas. You're making new connections within your brainwaves and connecting new neurons to make the shimmy shake. You don't care if you were judging yourself negatively or the world was judging yourself negatively or the main person that could give you your gold coins and give you your cup. You're now realizing that this judgment ain't real. This judgment don't hurt nothing. This judgment just meant they weren't giving you the coin. This judgment meant that the others or your doubt, whatever negativity or whatever it is that made you feel like you couldn't get to your achievements or celebrate your wins or even just have the life that you want to have, if it relied on other moving pieces, other moving like emotions or even the weather can change things so quickly. You're realizing that what you wanted outside of yourself to give you these accolades, to give you these gold coins, even though they didn't judge you in the way that you wanted, they didn't give you the results you wanted. You might not have even gotten the results you wanted, even though that's what you thought, you brainstormed, or your intentions, even though that's isn't what happened. Right now you're noticing there are things that if I snapped my fingers, if I blew in the west direction, that shifts so much stuff to get you this. You don't even realize that the small things the small little judgments and nuances that are coming from this this judgment. You don't even realize that those negative things you're automatically flipping. You don't even realize. Like you know how some people they'll they'll get talked about like elementary school, middle school, high school. People will be talking about your clothes or oh your shoes busted and blah blah this and they're judging you for all that. They're like, oh you're this and you're that. You don't even realize that their judgment you're 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 making it better. And some people use their alchemy and use their magic in negative ways, like hurting other individuals. I think you're going to realize that yes, you were that type of person that when people judged you negatively, you took that negativity or you took that less than positive feedback and you took that less than positive feedback and you took it both ways. If I don't know if you can see it, but it has the infinity symbol above. So like you can either go negatively and then it ends up positive, or you can go positive and it ends up negatively. So like you took that advice before, and what you used to do with that advice or what you used to do with that judgment made you kind of cold. It, it did make you cold. It made you either made you strict or it made you cutthroat or it made you shut down and shut off and close off. It 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 you that judgment you got, the way you were flipping it at first, it made you one way. But you're now realizing that there's an opposite of that. There's a second wave of that. There's millions of different options that you can go towards, that you can flip the script on, that'll leave you a queen, but won't leave you with the sword. Most people think swords are fighting or for fighting. Yes, that could be true. She does not seem violent. They do not seem violent. They seem more like just stern, strict, just this is how I want to do things. That magician card made you that, or that magician card is how you flipped into this. However, that judgment card and how you were judged made you this magician, which also made you kind of just like straightforward. I want it this certain way, not this certain way. I don't know. And even though, even though you feel like you have to charge ahead and you feel like you have to give this direction and you have to still be within this mode, still be within this energy, you're still noticing that it didn't fulfill you before, or that it did fulfill. Hold on, this means it didn't. That instead, oh, you're realizing. You know what I mean? Even though you're this straightforward type of person, it it didn't leave you bottled up. It didn't leave you shut off from learning more. It, this judgment didn't stop you from still knowing that I may not like what has happened right now. I might not like what happened, how I'm feeling. You might not like the way you're acting. You want to be seen as this one type of way, but you're seen more in this strict or stoic type of way, or you want to be more stoic. You're realizing that all these judgments before you, all these achievements that you've had, all of this, you were still able to flip and not be disappointed in yourself. You learn that you ain't mess up your life. You ain't do nothing wrong. Well, right and wrong is very much a human thing. Spirit finds a way of making right and wrong equal. In the same, like, within the same sentence, the universe and the spirit will make what you're saying right now 100% true and 100% false at the same time. The magic was you weren't you're not gonna let that make you sad. You're not gonna let that keep you awake at night. You still gonna sleep good. You still gonna know that you're not destroying your life. You're not being a negative Nancy. You're not being selfish. You're not giving away too much of yourself or giving away too many of your ideas. You're not being this person. You're not being someone who has to give and give and give and balance out the universe. You're realizing you don't have to be an empress. You're realizing you don't have to be all like, everything's amazing. Everything's amazing. Like, you don't have to act like that, you know? You don't have to act like that. You're not the sun. You are your sun. You are your universe. But you are not the sun, the universe. So you're understanding that other people judging you harshly, you realize they gave you bad judgments, but they didn't make you a bad person. They didn't keep you awake at night. They didn't. They didn't force your tower to burn down. You're, you being an alchemist, you being the wise person you are, you connecting and aligning with whom you know you are, whom you know you want to be. You're magically flipping that so that you don't crash. The other person will. You're saying I could flip. I got what I need. I got my magic pixie dust, or I got my magic ideas up here, or I have my emotions, or I have my spirit team, or I have confidants that I can ask questions to, you're realizing the magics, the energies, the otherworldly things that aren't in black and white, that aren't in a textbook, or that are in only the elite people's textbooks. You're realizing that that magic is actually everywhere, and you actually can tap into it from anyone. Certain people are better than others, but you can still tap into the magic and align with what you still wanted, despite other people throwing you off and other people judging whatever it is harshly, or other people shutting it down, or taking it, or whatever it is. You're realizing all that tomfoolery, eh, that's gonna keep them up at night. That's going to keep others up at night. It's going to bring their downfall. You're trying to avoid it. You can avoid it. Use your alchemy. And even though you're working on the sideline, even though you're still like putting in the work to do things, remember when we said in one of these, instead of striving harder, cultivate the feeling of already having all you seek. This is that. This came out upside down. So it came out like this. However, when it's upright like this, you see this man putting in work. He's making these coins. He's making these coins in which you have. This came out upside down, which meant you don't have to make another coin. You don't have to. You don't have to keep putting in the work harder than you have before. Like, you don't have to keep putting in that same work in which you've already been doing. You've already been making these coins. You've already been looking at all these coins in which you've made. You might not feel like it's enough. Other people are telling you it's not enough.
What do you think?
Other people are definitely shifting and trying to tell you it's not enough. It is. They're only telling you that. They're only judging you in this way so that they can keep burning you out, keep making you work, keep making you work, keep making you work. Most people don't understand. They You don't have to work harder. Working smarter is being a magician. You were going to you had all this. You now figuring out. Hey, guess what? I've made my coins. I've made my coins. The coins in which I've made, the hard work in which I've put in, all this stuff in which I've done before you all. Whether you've seen it or not, I did it. I'm proud of myself because I'm a magician. Everybody else can align with a different outcome. They can literally go somewhere else, or you can go. That's that's the beauty of this, especially with the first reading we had: freedom, initiation, and alignment. This is basically saying you're looking at all that you've had or all you do have. You're seeing what more is out there. What what is it that is within my future dreams? What is what do I see and what do I feel right now that is a part of my freedom, that does cultivate freedom, that does bring me that open heart feeling, that loving feeling for not only for myself but for my community. And you've initiated it simply by asking the questions, simply by thinking that you want. You are initiating. You're realizing all of these achievements in which you put in to go towards your freedom. It was actual work to go towards your freedom. You initiated something because you saw your achievements. You're initiating something because at one point you felt like this and you don't want to feel like this. So you initiated something different than what it is that you've had before. You know you have these gold coins. You know you have these achievements. You know you have this support system. You know you have this strong backing to you. Even though the world may judge you, friends, um, communities, family members, loved ones, all that. Even though what you initiated right now isn't receiving the judgment or isn't receiving the kind of expectations that you were looking for, the more you align your physical self, the more you kind of like interweave what it is that you want for yourself in terms of freedom, in terms of what you want, the more you try and like cultivate it within yourself magically, the more you ooh ah, woo wop the bam, whatever it is, the more you do that, the more you get to this right here. You're gonna get to sit there with your achievements, with your goals, with your freedom. With your freedom, you will get you will get to this. However, you have to align with what you've initiated. You initiated that you don't want to be sitting down mad no more. You've initiated that you don't want to be up all night doing all this crazy stuff. Whatever it is. You've realized that you don't want to have that type of just volatile energy around you. You're realizing this ain't what you want no more. This is what you're initiating. You're initiating that you don't want this. And whatever this evokes for you. If this evokes you feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all of my money, I'm going to lose all of my friends, or I'm going to lose all of my community, whatever was happening that made you feel like this, you started an initiation. You started initiating the reversal of this. You started initiating that you don't want to be sitting up crying no more. You don't want the people that you're around and the people that are within your community, you don't want all these people that you love and care for to be crashing and burning. You you don't want that. You're taking whatever you did that originally brought this, you're realizing you're going to initiate the reversal of this. You're going to make sure that you're not going to be crying in the middle of the night. And you're not going to destroy everything that you built up. You're realizing that. You're realizing that. You're going to stop putting in the efforts that made this. You're going to stop putting in whatever energies, emotions, physical activity, whatever it is that was causing you to be up at night crying and the whole house burning down, whatever it is that you did before that was doing this, you're realizing because that wasn't working, you're not going to continue doing that. You're not going to continue burning your house down. That's like you throwing rocks in a glass house. You chip one of the glasses, and you realize, oh man, the whole house is gonna fall. But you still keep throwing them. Like you're realizing you don't have to throw. You don't have to throw these rocks. You're realizing that the more you work towards throwing these rocks, the more the house is going. Like the more you work towards trying to build something up in the way you've been doing it before, the more it's gonna tear it down. You're realizing that you don't have to work against yourself. Sometimes we don't even realize that the stuff that we're doing is working against us until we get to this moment. A lot of times. Because we have this different idea of an outcome. We have a different outlook on what it could be. You're now realizing that you can shift. You you can lead yourself and lead those that trust you and follow you and that love you. You can lead them away from this too, because you're going away from this. You don't want this no more. You've looked back at all you've done and you realize it created this. You look back at all the achievements or all the things in which you cherish or love or all the things that made you feel good, all that stuff that made you smile or just made you feel like you were cultivating something. You realize that while looking back at it, you created this unbeknownst to you because you felt like you were just putting in the work. You felt like you were working towards your idea of freedom. You didn't realize that your idea of freedom, looking back at it, was going to cause not only you to have your tower burned down, but everyone else their tower. You're shifting now. You're realizing, hey, what happened? What happened that brought us this? Whatever. This card is you saying that whatever happened before that brought us this, you're initiating and changing what you do, how you do it. You're initiating a different direction. Even if it's like 30 degrees to the left or 30 degrees to the right, just going in a new direction, you're saying to yourself and you're initiating to yourself, you don't want this no more. You want the opposite of this. You want an unburned house. You want peaceful nights of sleeping in bed. You don't want to have restless nights. You're realizing that you're gonna, hey, let's talk about all that brought us to this. Let's talk about all. Let's get it all on the table of what brought us to devastation, or what brought us to not liking the outcome or judging it negatively. Let's talk about what brought us that, and let's stop working on what brought us destruction. Let's stop initiating and stop bringing up what's going to keep leaving us crying. Let's talk about what we do have, and let's be clear cut, and let's align with what will give us this instead of this. Oh my gosh. Instead of this. You're learning to use your magic to shift something different. You're using your magic to shift. That's all that is. You're finding ways. You're finding newer ways of learning what makes this magical. You're understanding that the past judgments actually, they're not. The past judgments. Hold on. Nine of cups. Put it down. Or nine of cups on the side. Damn. Look at that. Page of Swords. No more crying over spilled milk, man. It's Five of Cups underneath. Fell out on top of the Queen of Swords. When Five of Cups is upright, this dude is looking at the spilled cups. And he don't care about the two cups that are there. Right now it flipped up upside down. So it's saying your Queen of Swords energy, your let's initiate something different, let's align towards something better, let's get our gold cups together. You have to stop focusing on the negative that happened. You got to stop focusing on the judgment that happened before you. You got to focus on them two cups. You got to focus on what is upright. You got to stop working towards what spilled. You're working towards what has spilled, what has just not going the way you want it to go. This Queen of Swords is you initiating that conversation, starting that idea, getting that mental juice flowing, not only between yourself, but between everybody that is a part of this. You're slowly initiating, hey, let's stop manifesting the spilled milk. Let's stop manifesting the crying over the spilled milk. Let's stop being sad and devastated and disappointed about it. Let's be a little naive right now and realize that yes, we are going to disagree about what is happening. However, it'll get you a little more stable than just having two spokes. It'll get you a little bit more stable than just being you leaning on this by yourself. You're leaning on one staff, you're leaning on one post to keep you upright, to stare at all of these things that happened in the past. This card is even like the way it's set up, this person is looking back at this. If you keep this is showing that to keep looking back at what has happened in a way that's sad, you keep looking back at something like, oh well, this wasn't what I wanted, this wasn't what I wanted. Like if you keep looking back and being sad about it, you're not gonna be a magician. You're not gonna be a magician. You're gonna be back to square one. You're gonna be back to this dude. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, stop that. Also, I find this really cute that Judgment and Lovers are like similar in design. Really different in message, but similar in design. And they're both like for each other. Like the Lovers card popped up behind the Page of Swords, and I was thinking about clarification on what this judgment is. I feel like you're the one that's looking back at all that you've done. It's not somebody. It might be someone else. It might be you and another person. Whether it's a partnership or a relationship or it's something where two people, where specifically two people. Ooh, it's you and this person that are kind of judging it as like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like this isn't what we wanted. This isn't how we wanted it. Like this is what we had. Why is it not this? Why is it not? Woo! Like we're all happy. Why does it feel like we're a little devastated looking back at it? Okay. Okay. Oh, justice or justice upright. You're gonna get your justice. Get your justice. 4 of Wands. Look at that. Just put back the 3 of Wands. You want to be a little more stable. Look at that. You stop looking back. If you stop thinking about, if you and whoever this is stop judging it so badly and stop judging it so limitedly, and you really realize that you got some magic to you, you realize that there are so many things that you can align with that are greater than what it is that you've already had before. If you don't shift out of that perspective of focusing on the cups that are upright, that do have the capability of holding water and holding milk and holding love and all that, if you don't focus on those cups that are keeping this thing moving, if you don't make magic with those cups, you're not gonna be stable. You're gonna keep creating a tower moment. You're gonna keep creating a destructive moment. You need to realize that you need to speak for stability. You need to speak towards being happy and keep initiating that. Keep aligning with that. You want to align with being stable. You want to align with them happy people. You want to align with these celebrations. You want to align with all of that. You can't keep aligning with this if you keep judging your past. If you keep looking back at your past. If you keep crying over spilled milk. And I understand that with both the Page of Swords and the Lovers falling out, the Lovers being upside down might mean that the other person is looking back at this too much. And that's when it's no longer for you to force that. That's for you to keep aligning with yourself. You can't stop the other person from looking at the spilled cups, but you yourself, as the person who is also engaged with all of these cups and interacting with all of these cups, you can't force the other person to focus on the cups that have water. You can't force that person to shift their perspective, but you can align with that perspective. You have the magic to focus on these upright cups so that you can bring stability for yourself. You got to do it for you. You got to do it for your freedom. The other person, once they realize that you are doing things to make sure that you're free, You can bring forth and continue the conversations and initiating questions and all that, and you can begin to be that magical entity that people will come to, so that they don't spill their cup. They don't want to spill their cups. I'm sure of that. But you can't tell them, hey, don't focus on the spilled cups. If you spilled one cup and you have three more cups, don't focus on that spilled cup, because then you're going to spill three more cups. Focus on your three cups that aren't spilled, and somehow magically one of your friends, your confidants, your peoples, your community is going to grab that one cup that's spilled while you're focusing on those three cups and fill up that cup for you. You, whew, look at that. And the cup that I was talking about is right under it's the third card from the deck. This is what I'm talking about. You're looking at all these options of all these cups of how everything could have gone. You're looking at all the ways you can shift things to a different way. Don't focus on all of them. Don't focus on all of the options. You can focus on all of the options, but that's later down the road. That's more freedom that you can get to, yet you have to start and say with yourself right now, you have to initiate. You're going to focus on your three cups that aren't spilled. Focus on your three cups that have the things that you want, that have the emotions and have the feeling or have the accolades, and that you have to speak towards what has stability to it. You have to speak towards what are those gold coins. And while you are cherishing and being grateful for the cups that you do have, spirit and the universe is going to give you that fourth cup. It's going to see that, oh, man, this person is doing a really good job. Like, this person was doing really well. They learned to be magical, and to not look at things so harshly, and they shifted their perspective. And you know what? We should take care of them. Instead of, instead of throwing them off with all these options, they chose to speak that they're going to be grateful for what they do have, and we're going to give them that fourth thing that's built. We're going to give them that stability. You're going to go from feeling uneven, feeling like you're missing out on something, feeling like you haven't gotten all that you've wanted, because you're magically shifting towards a better perspective. You're shifting towards what you do have. You're not crying over all of the stuff that's happened. You're not worried about all of the destructive stuff that's happened before, because you're focusing on, well, I'm grateful to have my life, and I'm grateful to have my family or my kids or my work, my coworkers, and to have this opportunity with blah blah blah, and to initiate this project, and to start working over there, and to, oh my gosh, travel the world. Because you're being grateful of the three things and the few things that you do have, spirit is going to be like, hey, guess what? We appreciate you. We love that for you. And while, yes, you may have not done the best in the past, yes, you may have spilled your cups before, we're going to fill this one up for you. We're going to make sure that you're balanced, one way or the other. One way or the other. Emotionally, you're going to be balanced. Yep, emotionally, you're going to be balanced. You don't have to put your guard up. You don't have to do that. I know I put it this way, but it came out upside. You don't have to put your guard up. You don't have to put your guard up. You could just say, hey, I feel as though I have to be grateful for what I do have. I have to be grateful for the opportunity I have. I can't keep judging it so harshly. I can't keep beating myself up about it. You have to shift that perspective. Be happy for it. And to know that, hey, you still got the shimmy. You still have You still got it. And you got to do the best you can with what you got. You still got you. Everybody else judging you like, whatever. You got it. You got it. Okay. All these doggone cards. Now, we're gonna get to the judgment card. Not judgment card. We're gonna get to the gratitude card. Yeah. I am grateful for creativity. I am grateful for experience. I'm grateful for humor. I'm grateful for my teachers. I'm grateful for energy. We're gonna focus on those two for right now. So grateful for creativity. That's that magician. That's that magic. Where the card at? Oh no. That card's somewhere around here. The magician. That's because the 7 is somewhere around here. Oh. There we go. Okay. Grateful for your experience. So I know y'all saw me switch these cards. The 7 was over here and the magician was over here. So because the 7 was over here and it said, I'm grateful for my experience, these go together. This is you being grateful for your experience. All those cups. Gotta be grateful for what it was. You don't have to focus on it. You don't have to focus on your experiences too harshly, too negatively. You don't have to judge it too negatively. You gotta be grateful for your creativity. Know that you can flip this. Whatever did happen, you could talk. You can at least talk with yourself and talk with your spirit guides, your therapists, your doctors, your friends, your family, your loved ones. You still have the ability to start that conversation and initiate, hey, yes, we had those experiences, but I'm grateful for what we can create outside of that. Yeah, all that negativity, yeah, all that bad stuff that happened. Guess what? We gotta be grateful that we are still creative enough and have the energy enough and have the mental fortitude and the strength to no longer focus on the negative stuff and let that negative stuff destroy us. You can still think negative stuff and have people have negativity around you, but you don't. You can be strong enough yourself to not let it affect you. And I think that's where the creativity comes in. That's why you have to be grateful for your experiences. Be grateful for your experiences. Be grateful for the creativity that you have. If you weren't creative, you'd be down in the dumps. You you'd be crying over spilled milk. You would be sad. Oh, I did it. Oh, that wasn't the time to try that. Okay. Anyway, well, yeah, you realize you have the creativity to shift it in a better perspective because you want better. You don't want to cry over spilled milk, so don't focus on spilled milk. Be grateful that you have 2 cups that you can make magic with. I am grateful for my body. I am grateful for inspiration. I am grateful for imperfection. I think grateful for imperfection goes with this card, the Eight of Pentacles reverse, because Eight of Pentacles reverse is like working towards something. And a lot of people, when they work towards something, they'll usually work on a project over and over and over and over and over again because they want it to be perfect. With it being upside down, this is saying it's not going to be perfect. It might be imperfect. Guess what? It'll be okay because you are still inspired to to create new things. You're still grateful to be able to focus on those cups. That you still have cups to begin with. You're grateful for your body. You're here in this realm. So grateful. So please, please, if anything, choose what is good in your life. Keep talking about what's good in your life. Keep focusing on what's good in your life. Focusing on your achievements. Keep being grateful for all that you've done before this, even if other people view it negatively. Grateful that, hey, guess what? Bam, I'm good. Bam, like everything's the imperfection is still gonna grant you stability. This imperfection is still gonna make you sick. It's still gonna make y'all happy. It's still gonna make whatever outcome you want. It's still gonna make it good. So don't focus that each one of the sticks look different. Don't focus on each one of the posts, or each one of the counterparts of it being wonky or being a little weird or not being the right way you want it to be. You're still gonna get stability. It's imperfect, but it's stable. It's perfect. It's imperfect, but it's worth it. Like it's it's gonna it's gonna still get you free. Yeah, align with it. Align with the positivity. Align with the good feelings. Align with the happiness you want to see. Don't keep focusing on that debilitating aspect of it. Don't keep focusing on what you gotta like dodge and what you gotta like hide from and what you gotta like. Oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to shift my perspective. I have to shift how I move to do that. And oh my gosh, I have to chameleon into that. Yeah, you can chameleon it, but is that gonna make you free? Is that aligning with what you love? Like, is that really what you want to use your magic for? To make you less free? Think about it. I'll leave it on that. Do you want to use your magic to make you less free? No, I would hope not. Would you want to use your freedom to make everyone around you less free? I'll give you time to answer, but those are things to think about. Now, that last card that we were going to get to, other reading. This. Mount Shasta. Where Lemuria would be destroyed, its people traveled to other parts of the globe. Mount Shasta was one place they journeyed. There are tales of unusual phenomena and multidimensional beings living inside the mountain. This this card is about origins, and the image of the seed crystal this deck is based around. Honor and look more deeply into your ancestry, both your bloodline and your etheric lineage. Do you have an affinity with any star beings? Connecting with them might allow you greater insight into your traits, your strengths, and challenges. The sacred places you feel attracted to may have an intuitive message for you. Bam. So this comes full circle to the beginning of the reading. You're you're realizing you're making a choice. You're initiating something different. You're being a magician because you don't want to keep crying no more. You're tired of crying. You're tired of being hurt. You're tired of whatever it is. You want peace. You want namaste. You want all that. So you gotta journey. You gotta travel outside of what you already know. You gotta initiate and align with that new thing that might actually be helping you out. You might just have to shift that perspective. You might just have to drop some things on your list of freedom that you thought were free for everyone, but it only made you more free. It made everyone else stifled. You are now connecting into that and realizing that there are certain people around you that interact with the world way differently than you do, that see different realms on this physical realm and see it in different shades and all that. You're noticing that there are others near you, around you. There are other entities and energies within you that are going to show you your strength, that are going to help you work through those challenges that are going to keep you aligned with what you want to initiate. It's going to be a little more peaceful. You're